I showed you at the start of the show the awful coverage of the coronation on the ABC. Let's talk to someone who was there and even recently got to shake hands with the King. I'm delighted to be joined by Patrick Christys, GB News host. Patrick, wonderful to be talking with you. I know ITV did a much better job than our ABC, but you still had the race-obsessed weighing in with this comment.
Oh.
We've gone from the rich diversity of the Abbey to a terribly white balcony. I'm very struck by that. I'm also looking at those younger generations and thinking, what are the nuances that they will inhabit as they grow?
Oh, gosh. I mean, who can believe a white family would be, I don't know, so white? The audacity of these people.
I know. I mean, can you imagine the shock that she would get if she went and had a look at some of the leading families around Africa or the Middle East? I mean, good grief, there's hardly any diversity there. But look, that was Joa Andoh there, who is an actress from Bridgerton. And she seemed intent on all of that pomp and ceremony and this such wonderful occasion to be focused on one thing and one thing only, and that is race. And that is happening far too often in this country at the moment. The inconvenient truth for people like Joa is that there could have been some representation of the black community on that balcony, but Meghan Markle turned down the invitation to come and has done her best to trash our royal family and indeed ruin Harry's reputation with it as well. So if she's really complaining about it, then maybe she should be saying to Meghan Markle, you could have done something about that and led from the front. But the whole thing is totally self-defeating. I've made some notes here about some of the diverse representation during that ceremony. There was a black choir, there was a rabbi, there was a black lady bishop, our Hindu Prime Minister read a reading, there was a Greek Orthodox priest there as well. And if you look as well at the actual coronation concert last night, the diversity on display there was absolutely vast. But the point remains, we are an 85% white country with a monarchy that dates back around 1,000 years. And shock horror, they are, of course, going to be white. And the only people who seem to have a problem with this are, I would say, race baiters, who are now making a lot of money out of being controversial. But can I just say something on this? I actually find it offensive, because this is a big, big day in British culture. And a lot of people like to tear down British culture, say, we haven't got any culture, we haven't got any culture. Well, actually, hang on a minute. Did you see the level of service there? Did you see the level of history that went back there? Did you see the pomp and ceremony on display? And to sneer at that, with absolute respect, I would never go to a Sikh Gurdwara or a Hindu temple or a synagogue or a mosque and say, oh, this is all ridiculous, isn't it? This is all ridiculous. I'd be, rightly so, accused of being very, very offensive and quite possibly never work again. But yet ITV are desperate on resurrecting people like this. And also, as well, just to say quickly, the BBC had a chap on called David Olusogu, who appeared prominently in Meghan and Harry's Netflix documentary, out and out dislikes, despises the royal family, and he's another one who sees race in everything. Why are we doing this?
Well, if you're determined to see racism everywhere, you'll probably find it, whether it exists or not. But it was great to see British people from all walks of life gather to celebrate the King. It shows what a uniting force their monarchy can be. And I thought the women were particularly great. I mean, they dominated the day, from Kate looking absolutely regal and stunning to Princess Anne and Queen Camilla, and Penny Mordaunt arguably stole the show. Let's just have a look at some of the women of the coronation. Oh, just takes you back. What did you think of that? I thought the women really did stand out. What were the highlights for you?
Too many to mention. Firstly, Princess Anne's hat. OK, so Princess Anne had a hat on with a big feather on it. Where was she sat? Right in front of Prince Harry. So Princess Anne's hat was blocking Prince Harry's face throughout the ceremony. Well done, Anne, our hardest working royal, working very hard then for the sanity of the nation. Camilla did a couple of very nice jobs, actually, and something that flew under the radar was Camilla and Charles actually arrived a bit too early for the ceremony. So they were stuck in this wonderful gold carriage for a while. And Charles does, for as wonderful king as he's going to be, apparently he does have a bit of a temper on him, and he was getting a bit frustrated, and she was calming him down, which is good. You don't want those optics there. She also, Camilla, by everyone who met her in the past, was kind of a hard-smoking, likes a drink, likes a laugh, and she kind of turned up on the balcony as well to meet the crowds with the crown just about on her head. I mean, just looking like so relatable, actually. So relatable, and doing a very good job, I think, of quelling a lot of the negative sentiment that built up towards her over the years because, of course, what happened with Diana. Also, Penny Mordaunt, though, I mean, you've got to say Penny Mordaunt was absolutely fabulous. She had to hold a sword that weighed 8 pounds for an hour and a half because she's Lord President of the Privy Council. That sword dates back to the 17th century. She said she'd been doing push-ups in the run-up to it. It was absolutely, utterly ridiculous. And, get this, the bookies in this country have massively shortened the odds on her being our next Prime Minister. So it turns out it's as easy as that to become the Prime Minister of this country. All you've got to do is hold a massive sword.
Well, I think I'm on board. I've got doubts about her opinions about a few things. I think she needs to recognise what a woman is and what a woman isn't, but she can work on that. She certainly did a splendid job there.